Worthiness may sound like a self-esteem issue, but it may be what's driving the pain or the patterns you've been struggling to change, which means getting unstuck starts with understanding how your sense of worth is keeping the pain or the pattern in place. Welcome to the Pathway Back, a journey of reconnecting with your wholeness, reclaiming your worth, and restoring your peace. I'm Shelley, founder of Haven for Inner Stillness, where I help you create meaningful change without forcing, fixing, or fighting yourself. Hey there. Thanks for joining me today. I want to talk with you about worthiness. When most people think of worthiness, they think of self-esteem. But worthiness affects more than just your confidence. Whether you're trying to heal, change a pattern, manage your triggers, become more successful, make a life change, or overcome fear that keeps holding you back, so much of it comes back to what you believe about your worth. Because finding your way through any of those things or staying stuck in them depends on the way you see yourself. Your sense of worth doesn't only affect how you feel about yourself, it shapes the way you live. It influences the choices you make, what you tolerate, what you fear, and the patterns you repeat. If you don't feel whole, you'll continue to seek reassurance from others. You'll keep looking for someone or something to fill what feels missing. You'll mistake being wanted for being complete. You'll hold on to people long after you know you need to let go. And you'll keep believing your peace depends on what someone else does or what you're hoping happens next. If you don't feel worthy, you'll keep giving more and settling for less. You'll adjust yourself to earn love or acceptance, or you'll keep trying to prove your value by being the one people can count on, the one who comes to the rescue, or the one who stays strong, even when you're tired, depleted, or need support yourself. When you believe you don't matter, you'll stay quiet instead of speaking up. Say yes when every part of you wants to say no, or tolerate things that hurt because speaking up or standing up for yourself feels harder than putting up with it. When you feel like there's something missing or that something about you needs to be fixed, you'll keep chasing acceptance, approval, success, validation, reassurance, or the next achievement, hoping that eventually one of them will make you feel secure, whole, or complete. But they won't, at least not for long, because nothing outside of you can permanently fill what feels missing or convince you that you're enough. You can change jobs, change relationships, change your body, make more money, move across the country, start over completely. But wherever you go, you take yourself with you. And until the way you see yourself begins to change, you'll keep finding the same pain or the same pattern in different places, with different people, under different circumstances. Because those patterns are protecting something deeper, your sense of worth. When your sense of worth is tied to your acceptance, approval, how you're treated, or what happens next, the pattern becomes necessary. It's trying to protect you from the pain of rejection, disappointment, getting it wrong, or an outcome you don't want. For example, you may overthink or replay every conversation because you're afraid of saying the wrong thing and losing someone else's approval or acceptance. You may keep reaching for reassurance because silence or uncertainty feels too much like rejection. Or you may avoid making a decision or trying something new because you're afraid of getting it wrong or having to live with an outcome you don't want and someone else's disappointment in you. So if you're trying to heal the emotion or change the behavior without changing what's making the emotion so intense or what makes that behavior feel necessary in the first place, the pain or the patterns can be difficult to change. To shift how you feel or break the pattern, you have to reach where it's coming from. You have to see what part of your worth feels threatened and begin separating your sense of worth from the acceptance, approval, respect, or desired outcome you're afraid of losing. Because what that fear is telling you isn't true. You just learned to believe it was through things you experienced that shaped what you thought was necessary to feel worthy, lovable, or valuable. Through moments of pain, rejection, fear, or loss, through the way you were treated, through times you felt left out, overlooked, criticized, misunderstood, or like you had to earn love, approval, or belonging. And I'm not saying you need to dismiss what happened or pretend it doesn't matter. I'm not saying that the painful things you experienced or the wounds you're trying to heal aren't real or important. And I'm certainly not saying you should have known better before you knew better. What happened to you matters. What you lived through matters. The way you were treated, what you didn't receive, and what you had to endure all matter. But at some point, healing has to become less about where the fear came from and more about what's giving it power now. What keeps sending you into the same pain, the same panic, the same shutdown, or the same reactions, so that you don't keep getting pulled into the same spiral. Once you understand how what you believe about your worth is keeping the pain or the pattern in place, you can begin breaking free from it. Because no matter who hurt you, what you lost, what you were taught, or how long you've been carrying it, you do have the power to choose what happens next. You can decide that your worth no longer needs to depend on other people or outside circumstances. And the truth is, they were never what made you worthy in the first place, so they can't decide or validate your worth for you now. They can love you, encourage you, believe in you. They can remind you of everything brilliant and beautiful they see in you. But if you don't believe it, it won't be enough. You'll need them to say it again tomorrow and the next day, and every time something happens that makes you question yourself. No outcome can determine your worth either, at least not permanently. You can be chosen, reach the goal, get the opportunity, make more money, create the success you've been working so hard to achieve. But the minute you're rejected, miss the goal, lose money, or things don't work out the way you'd hoped, you'll begin doubting yourself all over again. The transformation you're looking for begins within you. It begins by grounding yourself in your own sense of worth from within. And that starts by seeing the things you believe about yourself, things you may not even be aware of or ever questioned. That you have to be chosen to be lovable, that you have to succeed to be valuable, that making a mistake means you're a failure or can't trust yourself, that being rejected means you're not important or don't matter. that being alone means no one wants you, that having needs makes you selfish, that fear means you shouldn't move forward. And most people don't walk around consciously saying those things to themselves. They just live as though they're true. They make decisions around them, stay in relationships because of them, shrink themselves because of them, keep trying to prove their value through how much they do, give, or accomplish because of them. And they call it life. They want things to change, but they've been trying to create that change from the wrong place. They've been trying to change the feeling, the reaction, the choice, or the pattern without understanding how their sense of worth is shaping it beneath the surface. Because transformation isn't only about changing what you do or how you feel. It's about changing what you've been relying on to feel worthy, loved, accepted, or enough. So ask yourself this: who would I be if I stopped living as though all of that was true? What would I choose if I didn't need the outcome to prove anything about me? What would I say if I wasn't afraid that speaking up or saying what I really want would bring rejection? What would I stop doing to earn love if I believed I was already lovable? What would I stop tolerating if I believed that being alone was better than abandoning myself? What would I finally do if I stopped letting fear make my decisions? That's where things begin to change. Not when life finally proves your worth to you, but when you stop asking it to. That means learning to see yourself beyond someone else's opinions, someone else's choices or behavior, or the way things turn out. And that doesn't mean you'll never feel hurt, afraid, rejected, disappointed, or unsure of yourself again. It means you stop letting those moments define you, because your worth isn't found in being chosen, accepted, validated, or in having everything work out the way you want it. It doesn't disappear when someone leaves. It doesn't shrink when you make a mistake. It doesn't become less real when you fall back into an old pattern. And it doesn't diminish when you lose your way. Your worth doesn't come and go. It remains unchanged within you. It lives in the deeper part of you that existed before you learned to question it, before you were rejected, before you were dismissed, before you were told that you were too much, not enough, too sensitive, too difficult, or somehow wrong for being who you were. Your worth was never created by the people who love you or treated you right, which means it can never be taken away by the people who don't. And as you become more grounded in that truth, you'll stop living as though everyone else and everything that happens gets to decide who you are or what you're worth. You can question the voice that says you're not ready, not capable, not lovable, not wanted, not important, or not enough. Your worth isn't something you have to earn. It isn't something you need to prove. And it isn't a prize life hands you when you get everything right, find the right person, or finally become successful. It's already yours. You just have to find your way back to it. And that's not about changing who you are. It's about reconnecting with who you are. It's about remembering your wholeness beneath everything that convinced you you were broken. If this speaks to you and you'd like to explore this more deeply, this is the kind of transformation I guide you through in Pathway Back to Wholeness. It's a 90-day private coaching program where I help you see beneath the feeling, beneath the trigger, or beneath the pattern to uncover how your sense of worth might be shaping it. Then I teach you how to begin reconnecting with your worth from within so that what's happening outside of you no longer has the same power over how you feel or what you do. And you can begin living in a way that feels more aligned with the truth of your worth. The details are in the episode description. But if you're struggling right now, remember this. You don't have to rely on another person, circumstance, or outcome to feel that you are whole. The pathway back begins when you stop looking outside of yourself for something to prove that you are worthy and look within to see that you already are. Until next time, right here with you on the pathway back.